Well, welcome and thank you so much for joining us today for a community conversation with two leaders in our community who are helping serve small businesses, businesses of bigger size, as well as the community at large during this pandemic. And so I'd like to introduce you to Steve Dust. He is our CEO of the Legacy Foundation, and Imar Hernandez, who is with Iowa State Extension Community and Development Relations. And Imar, you'll have to correct my introduction of your title there. But both have been great leaders in our community and are taking some time this morning to share with us what they have been up to helping folks in the community during this time of crisis. So Imar, if you don't mind, I believe that you can share your screen from your vantage point if you want to start and talk to us a little bit about what you're up to. And you are on mute.
I wonder how many sentences and words have been lost during this COVID-19 on microphone. So, no, thank you for having me. And so, yes, we are in full recovery, and that's why the way we're doing our type of work. And so there's different things that we're doing. One of the things is we created a business team last year, which has come very handy. And so we had two units inside Extension that were working with businesses, but separately. And so we've merged those together. And so I'm going to share my very short presentation with you and talk about that. And then I'll hopefully get to talk with you about some other things that we're doing for communities. And so hopefully you see the presentation there. And so basically, again, is putting different groups that were not working together before, getting them together. So we have SBDC as well, is now part of our group. And we've been doing podcasts, which are available, and they're free. And I'll send you the link of these. And they're very updated. So there's some that we have taken down already because they were outdated in the last couple of weeks. And so they're short, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, trying to address any of the issues that are going nowadays with business. And now we're moving to a webinar format as well. So we're starting those this week, and I'll send you one that we're going to have next week on moving your business online. And those are free. And then we're going to also do classes, which we've always done, but moving them to hybrid online and lab. And then we also do technical support. So, so these are the podcasts that we're doing. Some of them are in Spanish. And so, again, they talk about small business relief or the importance of cash flow or different revolving loan funds that we have. Example, SBA programs for your business. We did one on opening the restaurants and what you needed for that. And so, so feel free to share. They're free, and so out for businesses to use. And so other things we're doing is classes, and you see there some things that we can do. We can do financial analysis. I'm not sure how many restaurants are open now, but hey, we had a bakery open last week, and so you just never know. There's opportunity in everything. So, and we use technical assistance as well for clients. It can be anything. We are seeing a lot of businesses who sometimes are caught up in no man's land, trying, with a federal agency or a state agency. And fortunately, we have the way of reaching out to those partners and bridge the business owner in the state entity or the federal entity that they're having issues with. It can be a permit that they submit a renewal, or they apply for a sales tax, and so there's a lot of things. It's amazing what you can do on the phone if you have a relationship there. So. And we use all kinds of tools. Our staff is certified, and they're really high quality and requires a certification. And so these are some of the tools that we use for the businesses that we're helping. So this is a team that we have throughout the state, and we cover the whole state. which has its own difficulties, but it's we've been doing a lot of Zooms, and these are not the FSBDC folks; these are just the Iowa State Extension staff involved in these partnerships. So the other things that we're doing, and then I'll open it up for questions, is we are realizing that communities and organizations are going to need planning for recovery. And so Iowa State Extension has always done a lot of strategic plannings, facilitation, action planning throughout the state. And so we are we're rolling out a program called Planning for Recovery. And we piloted it last week with a government entity, a council, an extension council in Lynn County, so Iowa City. And so how are they going to do, what are they going to do for the next 6 months? What are they doing now? And so I think we're going to be pretty busy doing planning for recovery. So if you know of any organization, nonprofit, or local entity, local government, it could be a government entity as well. We won't do that for businesses under that specific program, but we can do it under the business team for them. So just let us know, and we'll be glad to do that. And 2 more things that I can think of without going too long is that we also have moved our grant writing classes online. So those are available. And one more that I can just disappear from my brain. So, and our leadership program has also moved online. So like Holly has the Autonomous Leadership Academy, we do leadership programming throughout the state. And actually this month we were caught up in the middle, just like you guys, of this process. And so we've moved to online. And so Henry County and Appalachia County will be the first ones to go this month through that online virtual using Adobe Connect and some cool other online tools. So I hope you get to graduate. I know how hard that was. We had big parties planned and big graduation plans and all kinds of things and tours. And so I can feel Holly's pain on that, and you all, because one of the biggest pieces of our leadership community programs are to build a social network, to really build on the network and get to know each other well. And it's harder to do that online, right? But we do the best we can. So I'll stop chatting and feel any questions if you have them for me.
Sure. Thank you, Emer, so much. If you don't mind, we'll go ahead and let you stop sharing and we'll pull us all back in. Perfect. And so I think what we'll do is hold questions to the end, if you don't mind. So anyone that has a question for Emer, just jot it down on a piece of paper, hold on to it, and we'll come back to it. And so I'm going to turn it over to Steve with the Legacy Foundation. And Steve, if you could share with us what you are up to with the Legacy Foundation and things that you're doing to support businesses and nonprofits and the community at large.
Sure, thanks. Legacy Foundation is a private foundation, and so we focus our work on nonprofits in the community primarily, and the work that those nonprofits are doing in large part. But you know, when COVID hit, the coronavirus hit, and our small businesses became impacted. Were impacted. We also saw our nonprofits being impacted. We could see that the immediate impact was going to be on the business, and the secondary impact would come along on our nonprofit partners for the most part. But we also knew there were going to be some immediate effects. So without hesitation, we began talking to some of our local partners. Our team began those conversations. And the result of that was first a conversation with our schools and YMCA and the Bridgeview Center and others about how do we get our students fed on a regular basis who are now at home with their parents, or primarily at home themselves at that point. And so we began working with them the conversation led to a grant from us to ensure that our students in the area were fed 2 meals per day. That not only gave them the food, but it also gave them some contact with others, perhaps some familiar faces in the process. The second part of it was, if you recall, the governor closed us down on St. Patrick's Day, or many of the businesses on St. Patrick's Day, and that led to a need for immediate, precise communications from our emergency management operations here in the county, Wapello County, to not only the community at large, but businesses in particular, because for the first time outside a weather emergency, businesses were being directly impacted by the declaration. So he had to build, Tim Richmond had to build his capacity to communicate with businesses as well as individuals immediately and accurately and concisely, because in the middle of all this, few of us have an opportunity to wade through a lot of detailed information, especially when we don't know if it contains anything relevant to what we need. So we made a grant to the Emergency Management Office to install the capacity to create that communications and manage it for him. And also, we convened, another part of our work here at the foundation is to convene people to attack issues important in our community. We convened a number of organizations, including the Regional Entrepreneur Center, and EMAR's organization, and Greater Ottumwa Partners in Progress, the school, a number of people around the table to make sure that Tim had access and information flow to and from the business community. So that was an important step, we think, as well. And then we began taking a look at how can we impact the small businesses of our community that are being impacted by forced closure or simply the lack of customers right now, the lack of demand, and in the position to try to save employment, but perhaps not able to with existing business levels. So we created, again, the team created the Legacy Foundation's Small Business Emergency Grant Program. That grant program is open for applications right now and will continue to be so through 5 o'clock on Friday, the 15th. Any small business in Wapello County between 1 and 25 employees, and if they are a 1-employee operation, then they have to, or a sole proprietorship, they have to have a location outside the home. We only have so much. That was kind of a decision we had to make about how do we manage the amount of funds that we have. And one of those decisions was that those sole proprietors had to be outside the home in another facility. Most importantly, at the very foundation of this is the business operation had to be impacted by COVID. It couldn't be general business conditions or something from prior to March that was impacting the business that was leading to, it has to be in direct response to this emergency condition. And we will be evaluating these applications based on the impact from this emergency. And they have to be in good standing with state and local government jurisdictions, of course. And one of the other critical conditions is considerations is that the impacted business operation must be within Wapello County. There is only one grant per ownership group. So and an owner may have a couple, 3 different businesses, and they may have all been impacted, but that owner has to pick one where they think they may have the best opportunity for the grant. The grant is up to $5,000 per ownership group. So again, this is just emergency. This is to help keep a business alive. It's particularly focused on those businesses that may not be as well established as others, for instance, may not, because of cultural differences, may not have the strength of banking relationships or other market relationships that would help them through this. All of those factors will be considered. We have over 30 applications, and they range from $500 all the way up to the $5,000 level. But again, we're open until 5 o'clock on Friday, and then there will be a team of qualified people, people from the foundation, from the Regional Entrepreneur Center, from EMAR, and others from the city, for instance, who will evaluate the applications and choose those who can be awarded a grant. These grants will be to our intention is to have the awards made by the end of May, so that the funds can get into the business hands as quickly as possible and have the impact that we intend. Again, it's all about mitigating this initial impact. It is not about recovery. We'll all have to help these folks recover in various ways. I think the best recovery plan is an open market to get people back to work and back in a condition where they can trade with our neighbors. But our small businesses are the fabric of our community, and we want to be of assistance how we can, and we think that this program is a way to do that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Steve, is there a limit? You said 5,000 per business, but is there an overall limit on the funds?
Yes, right now we have limited this to $100,000. So somewhere between 20 and 30 businesses will be served, in my estimation. I don't know the precise number that the team will come up with. But that's our limit right now. And frankly, we used a number of existing funds that would have paid for other typical routine kinds of things over the course of a year, and said, hey, this is an atypical year. We're not going to see one like this, hopefully, for a while. We want to take otherwise allocated funds, apply them where they are actually needed in the community. So right now that fund sits at $100,000, and circumstances may be such that that's adjusted.
Great. That's great. Okay, so we are going to open up for questions here in just a minute. But before we do that, and I stop the recording, I do want to thank you both, not only for just coming on to our discussion today to talk about what you are doing, but the actual work that both of your organizations and your teams are doing to make sure that our small businesses and our larger businesses and the community at large feel supported. And from the Leadership Academy standpoint, we don't always get to hear from all of the smaller businesses, right? So yesterday we did hear from a few of them and learned how we might be able to support them and some of the struggles they're going through. And so just knowing that these resources that you folks provide can help them is just, I think, reassuring, and it's a great leadership as well. So thank you, Steve and Emar. I'm going to stop the recording and then we'll open it for questions. Thank you so much.